Welcome back to Take the Leap Management, where we explore practical tools and strategies for impactful leadership in project and portfolio management. Today, in the sixth episode of our series on sustainable project portfolio management, we're focusing on an essential aspect of sustainability: resource management for sustainable portfolios. When we talk about sustainable resource management, we're really talking about the efficient and responsible use of resources across all projects to reduce waste, conserve energy, and minimize environmental impact. This is about making sure we're not only managing costs, but also contributing to long-term environmental and social sustainability. Let's start by defining what we mean by sustainable resource management within the context of project portfolios. Resources can take many forms: financial capital, human resources, materials, and energy. Sustainable resource management means approaching these resources in a way that reduces unnecessary use, prioritizes renewable or recyclable options, and considers long-term impacts over short-term gains. In a portfolio setting, this often involves finding synergies across projects so that resources are shared and optimized rather than duplicated. It's about looking for ways to get the most out of the resources we have while minimizing harm to the environment and supporting a fair, equitable use of resources. One of the first steps in resource management for sustainability is understanding resource demands across the entire portfolio. This includes tracking and forecasting which resources each project will require and identifying overlaps or potential conflicts in resource usage. For instance, if you're managing a portfolio that includes multiple construction projects, each project will likely need materials like cement, steel, and wood. By analyzing the demand for these materials across projects, you can identify opportunities to purchase in bulk, which can reduce transportation emissions and cut costs. Alternatively, you might see that projects could stagger their timelines so that materials can be shared rather than purchased separately, minimizing waste and expense. A powerful tool for this is the resource allocation matrix, which gives a clear overview of all resources allocated to each project and highlights areas where adjustments might be needed. For example, let's say you're overseeing a portfolio of IT projects, each requiring software licenses, servers, and skilled IT professionals. By using a resource allocation matrix, you can track these requirements and identify cases where resources could be shared. If two projects need a similar type of server, but not at the same time, you can allocate a single server resource across both projects. This approach not only reduces costs, but also lessens the environmental impact by lowering energy use. Another critical element of sustainable resource management is choosing renewable or recyclable resources whenever possible. This goes beyond the immediate project benefits and supports long-term sustainability goals. For instance, in construction or manufacturing portfolios, you're using recycled materials or sustainably sourced wood instead of raw materials can significantly lower the environmental footprint of each project. In a technology portfolio, this could involve opting for energy-efficient equipment, like low-power data servers or using cloud services that operate on renewable energy. Selecting these types of resources requires some upfront planning and sometimes a higher initial investment, but the long-term savings and reduced environmental impact make it worthwhile. One interesting trend we're seeing is the growing use of circular resource management. The circular economy model encourages the reuse, refurbishment, or recycling of materials so that waste is minimized and resources stay in use for as long as possible. Imagine you're managing a portfolio for a consumer goods company. Instead of sourcing brand new materials for each product line, you might explore ways to use recycled plastics or reclaimed metals. Or, if you're in technology, you might find ways to refurbish and redeploy older equipment within new projects. For example, let's say a data center project upgrades to new servers. Rather than discarding the old servers, they could be refurbished and used in lower demand areas of the company. This not only reduces waste, but also saves costs and cuts down on emissions associated with new equipment production. Efficient energy management is also essential for sustainable resource use. Projects across many industries consume substantial amounts of energy, and finding ways to reduce this can significantly impact the sustainability of your portfolio. For example, let's say you're managing a portfolio with various data-intensive projects. You might look at ways to optimize server usage or switch to cloud providers that use renewable energy. Or, if you're in a construction or manufacturing portfolio, energy management might involve installing solar panels, using energy-efficient machinery, or even adopting green building certifications like LEED, which encourage sustainable building practices. By focusing on energy efficiency across the portfolio, you not only reduce costs, but also contribute to the organization's sustainability goals. One common challenge with sustainable resource management is balancing cost with sustainable practices. Sustainable resources can sometimes be more expensive upfront, which might deter project managers from adopting them. However, it's essential to take a long-term view of these costs. For example, while installing energy-efficient lighting in a series of facilities might require an initial investment, the reduction in energy costs over time often justifies that expense. By educating stakeholders on the long-term financial benefits of sustainable resource choices, you can build stronger support for resource management strategies that prioritize sustainability. Another powerful tool for managing resources sustainably is scenario planning. Scenario planning allows you to test different resource management strategies by simulating future scenarios, such as increased material costs or resource shortages. Let's take a supply chain portfolio as an example. If you simulate a scenario where material costs rise significantly due to market volatility, you can plan how to adjust project budgets or reallocate resources in response. Or, in a construction portfolio, you could model scenarios for potential shortages in building materials and explore how these would impact project timelines. Scenario planning helps ensure that your portfolio is resilient to unexpected changes in resource availability, making it easier to adapt without compromising sustainability. Sustainable resource management isn't only about the physical resources. Human resources are just as critical. This involves considering the well-being of your workforce and ensuring that teams are supported, fairly compensated, and provided with a safe working environment. For example, in project portfolios with labor-intensive work, like construction or agriculture, resource management should include monitoring working conditions and ensuring compliance with fair labor practices. Providing employee training on sustainable practices is another way to support sustainability at a human resource level. For instance, if you're managing a project portfolio focused on logistics, training employees on fuel-efficient driving techniques, or environmentally friendly packaging practices, can reduce environmental impact while empowering employees to contribute to sustainability. A sustainable approach to human resources can also enhance employee retention and satisfaction, which are important for project continuity and long-term organizational health. Employees are increasingly looking for companies that prioritize sustainability, and social responsibility. By demonstrating that your organization values these principles in its resource management approach, you can create a positive work environment that attracts and retains talent. As we discuss these strategies, it's important to recognize that tracking and measuring resource usage is essential for accountability in sustainable resource management. Tools like resource utilization dashboards or carbon tracking software allow you to monitor your resource usage in real time. For example, if you have a portfolio of projects that rely on heavy machinery, a dashboard could help you track fuel usage, allowing you to identify areas where efficiency can be improved. Real-time tracking provides the visibility into resource consumption, helping you make adjustments on the fly to keep resource use aligned with sustainability goals. Finally, to effectively implement sustainable resource management, engagement and buy-in from stakeholders are crucial. You need alignment across project managers, portfolio managers, and executive leadership to ensure that sustainability is valued throughout the organization. Building this alignment might involve demonstrating the long-term value of sustainable resource practices, such as cost savings or improved brand reputation. For instance, you could present a case study showing how a project saved money and reduced environmental impact by opting for renewable resources. When stakeholders see tangible benefits, they're more likely to support resource management strategies that align with sustainability. As we wrap up, let's review the key points. Sustainable resource management for project portfolios is about understanding the full scope of resources across projects using tools like resource allocation matrices and scenario planning to optimize resource use and considering both immediate and long-term impacts. It involves prioritizing renewable and recyclable resources, managing energy and materials efficiently, and recognizing the value of human resources in creating sustainable project outcomes. By adopting sustainable practices, tracking progress, and engaging stakeholders, you are not only supporting sustainability goals, but also positioning your organization for resilience and long-term success. Thank you for joining us on Take the Leap Management today. I hope this episode has provided you with actionable insights on how to manage resources sustainably across your project portfolios. In our next episode, we'll be exploring risk management with a sustainability lens, focusing on how to assess and mitigate risks that go beyond traditional financial metrics to include environmental and social dimensions. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, share it with your colleagues, and stay tuned for more insights into sustainable project portfolio management. Until next time, keep your focus on sustainable growth and keep taking the leap.